Alright guys, just back here with another video. So Brian Lilly came out the other day and he posted, this actually yesterday, and he posted something that says no election until 2026. One of the questions I get asked the most is when will have an election? The answer may shock you, so let's have a look at this, then we'll talk about it after, like usual.
One of the questions I get the most is when is Canada going into a federal election? Well, the answer is we may not head into one until September 2026. Yeah, you heard that, September 2026. That's the last time that we're able to. The vote has to be held before the 5-year mark of the last vote, which was October 2021. That's the Constitution. Yes, we've got fixed election date laws, but they're not worth the paper they're printed on. They have all kinds of outs for parties to be able to do this. If Mark Carney takes over and becomes Liberal leader and Prime Minister, he could cut a deal with Jagmeet Singh and the NDP and say, we've got a national emergency because of Donald Trump and these tariff threats. We've got to stay in power. They could stick around, not just until the summer, not just until October, but all the way until the fall of 2026, all because of our strange government and constitutional system.
Alright, so hopefully you could hear that. The volume wasn't great on the video, but I mean, that's what a lot of people in my comment section have been saying, and that's the thing. And I think it was actually Northern Perspective. Don't quote me on that, but I think they posted something a few months ago kind of debunking something like this, where they were saying that no, we do have to have an election this year. But the more I've heard of these tariffs and potentially invoking an emergency, which I think they can actually do, they could stay in power until 2026, and who knows what they can do after that. Now, again, I guess we do have to have an election before the 5-year mark, but I mean, geez, if that happens, I mean, what happens to Canada? Okay, October of 2026, you're talking over a year and a half from now. How much more damage can this Liberal Party do? Of course, being propped up by Jagmeet Singh's NDPs, and they're too broke to have an election, so it's actually cheaper for them to continue to prop up the Trudeau, Carney, Freeland government, further destroying Canada. Now again, I've said it before, I'll say it again, the longer we have to wait till an election is actually worse for the Liberals and the NDPs, because more and more people are going to turn on them. Yes, both parties have their cult following. That doesn't equal, 25, 30%. Each party's cult following is probably around 15%. There are still some Liberals who like Liberals, and it's hard to believe that they would turn on them after, if you haven't turned on them by now, what's it going to take? That being said, more and more people's lives will be affected by these horrible policies, and people will turn on them. But that being said, what kind of a country are we going to have left by the time Pierre Poilievre gets in office? You'd like to think that he's going to fix a lot of these issues, especially financial issues with crime, things like that. But at what point does a country become too broken to fix? At what point do people then need to consider, okay, maybe the 51st state is the best option? I'm not saying I agree with that, at least not right now. I think Canada should remain a sovereign country. But what if it gets too broken to the point you can't refix it? You can't replace it, you can't fix it. What do? You scrap it. And that means someone needs to come save us. And we're supposed to be too rich and prosperous of a country to have that ever happen. Canada should be the best country in the world. One of the most prosperous places in the world to live. There's no reason we can't have these things. We should be able to have nice things as Canadians. As long as you're willing to work for it. But the problem is there's a lot of hard work that's going to waste right now because people are still paying 50 or 60% of their paycheck in rent. And they're still being taxed at these ridiculous rates. 20, 30%, some of these people. Hell, I get taxed with 20%. It's insane. You're taxing people in the lower middle class 20%? For what? I look down the street and I see potholes, cracked sidewalks. They can't even maintain the roads. They got a bunch of money to send to other countries, don't they? Bunch of money to, subsidies for companies, subsidies for education, which has now just become an indoctrination farm. Not all forms of education, of course, but some, surely. There's a lot of dumb university students out there, if you know what I mean. Being educated does not equivalent to being smart. They don't teach you common sense in universities. Not to mention you have 19, 20-year-olds getting tens of thousands of dollars into debt to make 25, 30 grand a year. Well, do the math. How are you going to pay that off? You're not even going to be able to pay off interest if you have to live on your own after. It's too expensive here. It's not safe here. Crime is through the roof. And they take those criminals, put them in jail temporarily, and let them out within a week or even within a day sometimes. Borders out of control, the drugs flowing in this country everywhere. Immigration's out of control. Everything that was bad about Canada, or something that needed to be fixed before Trudeau, has been made worse. Every single important issue. So, I mean, the longer we have to wait, the more we're going to suffer. I mean, again, eventually we'll get our day, and Trudeau or Carney or Freeland, whoever it is going to be gone. But we can't afford to wait that much longer, guys. So I really hope that Brian Lilley's wrong. I really hope that someone like Northern Perspective can really dig into this and hopefully debunk it. And again, that's just news I want to hear. I don't know if it's true or not. I don't know if Brian Lilley's right. But I really, really hope he's wrong. And if he is right, I really, really hope that the Conservatives have a way to stop this. I don't think they could, though. They don't have enough power. But I don't know. And I didn't make this video to try to scare people. I respect Brian Lilley. He's a good journalist, in my opinion. So when he says something, I tend to pay attention. Let me know what you guys think. Are a lot of you guys worried about the fact that we're not going to have an election potentially till 2026? Do you think that we'll get an election this year? And if you do, what part of the time in this year do you think we'll have an election? The spring, summer, fall? Please don't be shy. I really enjoy reading your comments and engaging with you guys. Please also don't forget to like and subscribe, as it really helps grow my channel. Thanks so much for watching, and I'll be back shortly with a new video.